if we're the open guard seated person, so we're playing seated or just, one up, one down, we talked about how you want to often come up to your hip to get a cross grip and then sit down. Because you need to get a high enough grip and you're going to drag from there. So often we would start same side and pass. So these principles are going to cross over to standing as well. Another principle that crosses over is we want to try and either move them this way and then create a path here that they want to take, and we're going to trick them into going that way, and then we're going to drop. Or we can simply, when we're here, we can simply kind of move this way a little bit so it feels like they have an easy path, and then we can drag here. But the themes are going to be the same. Cross grip, so if you're right hand dominant, you can go right to right. These ideas too that we used before where we're planting and lifting our hip up a bit. So we're going this way and here. We're going to do very similar things, but we're going to be using footwork and positioning more so. So I like to do this one specifically because I like to fight left anyway, so I will use the left hand to often pass and switch my stance here. You don't have to do that. You can be a righty and you can just find a different path, but you need to be able to get to the right on right or the left on left. So if you're a righty, you go right on right. Okay, so you can take from many different stances. Even if they strip your grip, that's one thing I like, you can still get here. Okay, so when you have this here, the better they're lean, the better it's going to work. So if they're completely upright in judo posture and, it's going to be hard to drag them at all. And it's even harder because you should feel very solid here. So often in jiu-jitsu, people are going to be a little bit more bent or a lot more bent depending on their style. If she's a little bit bent, and can you go right foot forward for now? If she's a little bit bent here, this is a great time to do it because when I drop, just the weight of my body is going to be driving her. So as soon as I'm here and we're moving this way, what I'm going to do is take a step this way, and I like to push because that often they'll start to come this way, and that's the way I want to drag. So I'm going to go this way, I'm going to move, I'm going to push this way, and then when the reaction happens, I'm going to drop and go here. I'm trying to make sure I open my hip. If you can't open your hip on that side, either get your hip more flexible or more immediately do it on the other side. For me, I happen to be much more flexible on my right hip, so this works out. But if you found out, like for me on my left side, I generally won't use this technique. So here, good, I'm going to move here, I'm going to move this way. Even if they take a step and I move them here, that's fine because I'm trying to get a little resistance and I'm moving this way. Now remember, just like when we did the arm drag on Tuesday, can you stand up? When I arm drag, I'm getting here, and then I'm moving this way. Right? So it's the same idea. We need to have an angle so that we're kind of loading up and moving. Same idea. Arm drag, collar drag, okay? So using your back muscles, using your roy. The difference is, with the arm drag, we weren't sitting all the way back, although you can use that in that way. We're going to sit right to that hip as we pull. So without a person, it's going to be here, move them, and then here. So when you land, ideally you want to land forearm or elbow, and hip, you want to be quite low in this place. There's only really, if you time it well, a few options. They're either going to post like Sheila just did. If you really get them, actually sometimes they will have to shoulder roll and you can come right up and it's a full in takedown. If they're really inexperienced and they're bad at posting and they might lawn dart, like their head bounces off. That's not ideal, but it will happen if if they're really unprepared. Here, when you resist, check in. Here, move, and when they go, here. Good, so you notice too, because she's coming close, when she hits here, if I grab the leg, it creates more opportunity. We're going to build off that, but I want to make sure everybody can do the drop first, okay? Let's work on that, and we'll build. 1, 2.